Happy New Year, Lorelei.
Happy New Year, everyone.
I've started recording.
Okay.
So we're being recorded.
Yep.
As you said, all our messages are being yes, under surveillance. Yes. The surveillance state. Yeah.
So, well, we are joking now, but I was just looking at some photos from last year from the same period, and it just looked like we are on a different planet now since a year now. So a lot of things happened in a year. Yeah.
I'm quite happy the way things are going.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, these are good news then. Yeah.
Because I've just read a new treaty that has come out.
Okay.
Yes. And the new treaty is well, it's quite amazing. Yes. So
well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yes.
Okay.
I'll send you the video. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
In fact, I'll add the video to this meeting on YouTube.
Great, that'll be great. Yeah.
So anyone can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So let me just start. Right. Oh. Hang on, I just have to do something. I'm going to try this. There might be a little pause, okay?
Okay.
Oh, so everything's still working then?
Yeah, you had some problems, technical problems?
Yeah, some technical problems. So, did you have a good break?
Yeah, well, I was working, so it didn't really feel like a break, but yeah, it was fine. Weekends are always fine. I saw a lot of birds today in the port. I still see the ferry, like goes to UK. How are things in UK with the new year and everything?
Well, everything here is, I mean, I'm over the moon. Yes.
That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, really. I mean, things are really looking up. This promises to be the start of a new age and a new year, which is going to be great. Yes.
Yeah, I feel the same.
So there are a lot of negative aspects that we have to deal with, that we have to sort out. But I feel quite confident that those things will be sorted out.
Well, let's pray so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not so much pray, but just meditate. Yes. I prefer to meditate rather than prayer. Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, if you prefer to pray, that's great. That's up to you.
Well, I was looking at the National Geographic. I don't know if you saw it. I put a documentary about Egyptian and life afterwards, from different perspectives, different religions. I put it on Spiritual Journey 21 on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it already. It's with Morgan Freeman. I don't know if you like the shows,
well,
documentary.
That's great. I shall have a look at that.
Yeah, and
investigating this wonderful news that's coming our way. So this is the 28th week of the spiritual journey.
Yeah.
We are now in level 2, part 1 of the spiritual journey, a 6-week help with groundwork. Now you've had the 24 meetings and texts, so now is a time of reflection and contemplation of what has been covered in the first year, or rather
Yeah.
the first 6 months. So effectively, this is the next level of your first year. The next 6 weeks is more interactive, but it depends on your own reflections and groundwork. It's good to see you, Lorelei. I'd just like to start the meeting with a point of reflection. Last week, the point was alter your stride and meet a stranger. That's you. This week, I'd like you to consider another point. It is known that one can only enjoy and improve one's life according to the standard of one's own education. And that, if you believe getting an education is expensive, then you should count the cost of ignorance. Yes, that's expensive. So over to you, Lorelei. Have you been? There were some questions you didn't have time to answer last week. Can you remember what they were?
I think you showed me the all the topics that we saw last year.
Yeah.
And then I think we kind of stopped there.
Okay.
So we saw the first 4 questions from what I remember.
Okay. I think there were 4 questions at the end that
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to answer them. You know, you're quite free not to do so. But would you say these studies cause a conflict with your Christian faith or complementary to your faith?
No, I wouldn't say so. No, I think it's it's a good way of realizing what your real strength is deep inside, you know. And now with this second part, you just have to. The way I feel it is that I'm going even higher in the sense that, for example, I started to see the auras in the first part, and now I start to see life in a different way. I don't know if it's the new year or but I know how to manage things in my life so much better that right now it's definitely not a problem. So last time I was still having some issues, as I previously mentioned during the videos, especially in the first part till the middle, I would say. Right now everything seems so pure and clear. So I have to continue on evolving on this illumination path, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, do you see these studies as passionate and purposeful?
Yet I'm definitely passionate. I wasn't so passionate about Egypt and what are these messages, but now after the documentary that I saw today and also our classes, I'm even more interested about the afterlife and how the kings and queen, they
Where
put
they,
those messages
yeah,
so
where
they
they
could
go to?
establish different steps in order to achieve. So they would actually, from what I understand from Morgan Freeman, they would wake up every day, like every day, the spirit would wake up and we'll have to do these challenges in order to have an access to a different life, because they would meet snakes, they would meet a lot of traps out there. So yeah, I think I learned a lot, and I would like to learn more about this topic, because it's not that I wasn't paying any attention to it or the treasures of Egypt, or but it's still so much to discover. If you look at the National Geographic documentary, only dates 3 days ago that they posted, so there are still so many things to discover, even if there were so many types and stuff happening for the last 5,000 years, you know. So
But
yeah, I think we will all evolve in time. it will
Okay.
not end.
If
Yeah.
if you really want to have a look at Egypt from an esoteric point of view, I recommend the the video I posted in the Spiritual Journey 21 Facebook
Yeah.
group,
Okay.
and it's a video from the Age of Truth,
Mm,
and it's Mark Stolk giving a presentation. Did you see that video?
I think so, and I will watch it again. Like I said, I still have to go
Yes.
deep, get deeper. Yeah,
Okay.
there's still so
That
many
that
things.
really is worth watching a couple of times. Yeah,
Yeah.
really is. Okay, so let's carry on with those questions.
Yeah.
Have you more sensitivity now than before the course?
Of course, yeah. I still had it before, but before the I started the spiritual journey, I didn't think that I could actually feel again what I was feeling when I was 14. Now I developed even more and I learned even more. So I definitely recommend to all those who want to improve themselves to do the spiritual journey experience. And
Yeah,
when it comes to auras, when it comes to having a healthy lifestyle, when it comes to having a perception about the afterlife, like we talked about, yeah, there are so many important topics that we discussed, and we can still discuss. Like it's
yeah.
we couldn't discuss forever for hours. So
Well,
yeah, it's not just religion, it's a lot more than that.
well,
So,
okay.
yeah.
The I suppose um the wonderful thing about the spiritual journey um is that it's a place where the participants can actually find their true self. Yes.
That's exactly, it's right to the point. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly.
And I mean, over and above everything else, over and above all the subjects we discuss,
Yeah,
that is the most important. That is for me. That is why
yeah,
I do it, so that people can discover their true self. Because I mean, I
yeah,
don't want to talk to somebody who's always in a role, who's
yeah,
yeah, who's always in a program of of their daily life,
yeah,
daily habitual living. Yes, this is about
yeah,
being your true self. Yes,
yeah.
and finding the emerging self, which is another subject. Okay,
Yes.
now, so can you feel or sense or see electromagnetically using your hands, eyes, senses, and aura? Yes.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
other words, using all your senses.
yeah, I do.
Yes. Oh, that's great. Okay. Um, do you have any other comments that you'd like to make?
Well,
Anything at all? It could be about the spiritual journey or whatever. Yes.
well, there are still a lot of things to see when it comes to not just tarot, but also like in the church when you see those paintings. For example, this person who had this afterlife experience. He was immersed in the sea. We saw in today's documentary in National Geographic. So he actually identified a specific image from a church with the storm that he actually saw on the other side. You know what I mean? So it would be interesting to discuss the afterlife experiences that the others had and try to I don't know, to put an order, but it will be difficult. Like it's not like we have to do like Morgan Freeman on National Geographic.
Well,
But
there are.
you had an experience. I myself I had one. So some people describe it as a light, as talking to God, as seeing someone there. So probably yeah, we should discuss someday more a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Just from
Well,
our own point of view and study what the others said and just see what. Yeah.
well, some people talk about that light that you see, that wonderful light, as
Yeah.
being a trap. Yes, whatever you do, don't go towards that light. Yes, that's
Okay.
what some people say. But I mean, there are millions of
Okay.
experiences. People have
Yeah.
recorded their experiences and made
Yeah.
videos on the internet. So there are just so many things. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's one that strikes me as probably true.
Yeah.
If you see that
Yeah.
light, think twice. Yes.
Well, this
Um,
person said he saw there were many lights there, then they were actually talking. And the way he referred to it was that it was God talking from those lights.
yeah. Well, there's deception everywhere. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Okay.
so so you have to be careful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
that period when you pass over is such a special time. If you're prepared to meet it in the right way, it should be a wonderful experience. Yes. Going towards the light, that's good. Perhaps if you just want to reincarnate and come back again and go through everything once again in a different way. But like I said, there are lots of different stories on that, and it's hard
Yeah.
to
Um,
see.
Also, he said that it all lasted for 18 or 20 minutes. How can you calculate the exact time? Because I'm thinking that probably could last more or less. I don't know. Like, how do you know what is the exact time that you spent on the other side? I don't.
Well, I've had two experiences myself, so I do have a bit of experience as far as that goes. Yes. Um, okay. So now I'd like to leave you with a true story, if I may. Yes. Now you have heard of Jesus walking on water. Yes. I have played a role of Jesus in the theatre, so perhaps it's possible. Yes, in the theatre. Now, whilst I was in France, yes, that's where I was doing the acting. Yes, where I acted as Jesus in one part. Um, Now, in France, I often think of returning to England, but gave myself a challenge. It's always good to give yourself an impossible challenge. Now, my challenge was to be the first person to walk across the channel. Yes, it's only, well, it's less than 25 miles in some
Oh,
places. Yes. And as we can travel 250,000 miles to the moon and then back, it must be possible just to walk across the channel. I mean, it seems like a small feat in comparison. Now, we have the technology. So I developed a way in which I could be the first to walk across the channel. Yes. Now, one night in Paris, now, do you know Paris very well?
I do, yeah.
Yes. Now, on the way to this development back in the early 90s, I was contemplating walking on water and on the spur of the moment gave it a try. Yes, it was dark and perhaps there were others in the park that night. In fact, the park was locked. Yes, but I saw nobody. So if somebody was looking, they would have had a surprise. Now, I was wearing a brand new pair of sunglasses. Being made of glass and expensive, one could see very clearly through them. Unlike these plastic sunglasses, you might know the difference. Anyway, in the middle of this enormous park was a sunroom high on a hill, on an island, surrounded by water like a deep moat. Do you know that park?
There are a lot of parks from Palais Royal, or which one do you?
I'm not too sure. I've forgotten the name.
Um,
It could
do,
be
do you know
Beaumont.
any?
No,
Oh,
not Beaumont.
probably. Oh, probably. I know because I was
Yeah.
going in the green spaces in Paris when I was there. Yeah.
Anyway, you can imagine it. It's a huge park in the middle of, or somewhere in Paris. And in the middle is like an island surrounded by a moat. And on this island is like a hill, and on top of it is a sunroom. Yes. Now I was sitting on the bank, let's say, and I decided there and then, on the spur of the moment, that I could walk across the watery moat. It was simply a matter of mind over matter and keeping good balance. So I approached the water's edge and put one foot on the water and started walking. Officially, the park was closed, but perhaps anyone watching would have been surprised. I was walking on water. Then, after about 4 meters walk, I slipped into the water. My sunglasses fell off, and I was waist deep in water. Yes, so I found out how deep the water was. It was just like up to your waist. Yes. Luckily, it wasn't cold. Yes, because this was in summer. And I soon got up on top of the water again and continued to walk on water another, well, maybe 10 meters to the island in the middle. Yes. I had wet feet and wet trousers, had lost my expensive new sunglasses. I wasn't going back in the moat, but felt pretty good all the same. In all appearances, I had walked on water. Yes. But it wasn't a miracle. It was just mind over matter. So, Lorelei, would you like to walk to England over the channel?
Um, with the ferry, yes.
If you could walk on water, would you like to do that too?
Yeah, if I can do some ski diving or.
Okay. Okay. You can, it's perfectly possible. It's perfectly
Yeah,
possible
I know I can, but
and
if it's not
reasonable.
too profound, yeah.
Yes, if you have a little know-how, mind over matter. I'll leave you to work out how it is done. It might take a few years to work it out, and you might find the solution. Yes.
No, well,
Now, I had no idea how I was going to do this, and I came up with the idea myself. Yes.
I have no idea how you did this. You just
On the spur of
programmed
the
your.
moment. On the spur of the moment.
Mm.
Yes. So now, personally, I think about it now and again over years as a personal challenge before I came to the solution. It's just one of the inspirations possible on the spiritual journey. And if I can do it, you can do it too. So, Lorelei, there's the challenge for you. If you get stuck, you can always ask the local vicar.
I walked on water, but it was frozen. Like when you go figure skating, because it was -1 degree last week, or this week. No, this weekend, yesterday actually.
Oh, well,
So I walked on water. It was just frozen.
well, that's one of the
It's
ways you can walk on water. Yes, it's
yeah, you
frozen,
can
yeah.
do figure skating. So
That's not a problem. But really,
yeah.
that's walking on ice, isn't it? Yeah.
No, really, I know. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like you say, it is walking on water. So you can always ask a vicar or a priest. Perhaps he knows. Just tell him you're working on a project and would like his help. Yes, I mean that would be an interesting way to have a conversation with a priest. If you go to the church. So just to leave you with a final thought for tonight, living in today's culture reduces one's natural self to a dwarfed size. The spiritual journey proposition is to re-educate yourself back to the natural condition. Therefore, your Bible of work is in the actual practice, taking note and living of it. Yes?
Yeah.
So it's bye until next week, level 2 of the first year spiritual journey, 10th of January 2021, and Happy New Year. Yes.
Happy New Year, everyone. Best of luck and a lot of health. And hopefully next week I'll be walking on water again. Bye for now.
Well,
Good evening. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
okay, okay. Good
Bye-bye.
luck with your ice skating as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I I preferred roller skating when I was in France. Years of it. Okay, so bye from me.